What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hockey Edmonton Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. I'm YouTube Trev. As always, we got Jeremy Halischuk, who's back from vacation. Quickly, Jeremy, how was vacation?
Vacation was very, very good. You know what? Honestly, the weather's fairly similar to what I left. And yeah, especially that Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. This is exactly what I sat through. So yeah, it was a very good vacation. And yeah, good to be back. And yeah,
awesome. Sweet. Well, happy to have you back.
Why, thank you.
We're going to be talking about how hockey gives back in today's episode. We had part one earlier. Last week, I guess, was when it aired. We talked to Dustin Moore. We had Brad Butterfield on. And we're going to continue that conversation today. Joining me, we have Dayna Josdal from Kids Sports. I might have butchered that name. I apologize if I did. And we got Janna Tominuk from Sports Central. Ladies, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah, we're doing really good.
Yeah, how are you?
Excited to chat with you, fellas.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yes, this we're gonna have a great conversation. And anyway, to the listeners watching right now, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment down below, as the support really means a lot. And without further away, ladies, we got a lot to talk about in today's episode. So I think we can start with you, Dayna, first, and then we'll go to you, Janna. But just introduce yourself and who you guys represent.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us here today. So I'm with Kids Sport Edmonton, and I'm the executive director there. And what we do is we subsidize sport registration fees for kids that come from families facing financial hardship, really breaking down that financial barrier and ensuring that all kids who dream to play have equal access to play. And we're really two peas in a pod with Sports Central. So we look after the subsidy of the sport registration fees. And then, Janna, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, for 33 years, Sports Central has been in the business of receiving gently used sports equipment from the public and repairing and refurbishing that and redistributing it to kids, in families facing financial hardship, like Dayna said. And it's, I think we both feel a great privilege to serve our organizations and change the lives of kids.
Definitely.
No,
awesome. No, that is great. Jeremy?
Yeah, for sure. It's actually, when we think of almost a full circle moment, earlier this year, obviously we lost a sport legend, radio legend in John Short. But again, I remember Tiger Goldsmith and John Short on John Short's programs talking about Sports Central and really that equipment drive. So again, for us, it's very good to have both of you on this program here to talk about these great programs that you folks offer.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for having us.
Well, and talking about Tiger Goldstick, I mean, it was a guy who started this out of the trunk of his car, right? Just saw kids in the neighborhood that were in need, was gathering some equipment so he could redistribute it to kids and look at where we are today.
Cool. I was going to ask what the origin story was, where it all started, so that's pretty neat to know there. We can start again with you, Dayna, but why do you believe it is important to make sport accessible for everyone?
So for me, it really comes from a personal experience. I don't hold it against me, but I'm from America and I moved to Canada.
Okay. No, you're good. That's all good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Michigan,
absolutely.
though. Michigan, from Michigan.
Okay.
Detroit,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So, go Red Wings. But maybe I shouldn't say that here. But
that's all good.
I'll be a safe space. But for me, so when we moved from America to Canada, it was Michigan to Ontario, and it was 6 hours north, and it wasn't culturally a massive change, but what was a huge shift for me was my entire community was gone, right? I didn't have that anymore, and 14's a hard age, and at any point, really, a move down the street would have been difficult for me, or for anyone at 14. So when I moved, I was having a really hard time with it, and then I, for the first time ever, saw rugby, the sport of rugby after school. I was causing some mayhem, doing something I shouldn't have been doing. And then I saw that sport and I thought, get me a mouth guard and get me on that team because
Nice.
I want to play. And then I wasn't a good rugby player, so I'm not going to promote that I was fabulous. But it was that sisterhood for me. It was that sense of community and belonging that really helped me get through high school and really adjust to the move to Canada. So when I was looking for a career and I came across Kids Sports Mission and knowing that in the small high school I went to, there wasn't even enough girls for two, like a junior and a senior team. So we all played on one team. So you're grade 9 playing grade 12s and other schools, and ton of fun. But knowing the stat now of 1 in 2 Canadian families, but then it was 1 out of 3 Canadian kids can't afford access to sport. And if it wasn't for the high school I went to kicking in to support those other girls, knowing the stats, we wouldn't have had a team and none of us would have had that experience. So I really felt in that moment the same feeling of somebody get me a mouth guard and get me on that team. It was actually Kids Sport Calgary that I started with as their event and volunteer manager. And I was not leaving that interview until I got that job because I felt so passionate. So
Nice.
I think sport's extremely important for kids in order to receive the crucial and basic experiences of childhood. And the lifelong learnings that come through sport is obviously crucial. The health benefits are obviously crucial. The impacts on our society are obviously crucial. But it's really for that child, the experiences of them having that. And I think that it should be an equal access opportunity and not just for privileged that can afford the pay-to-play system.
For sure. Janna?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that Dayna said. It really, I was very fortunate in my life. I was in every sport and every lesson provided to me, and the inclusion and the friendships and the skills and life skills that come out of being involved in sport and recreation are just so very important. And so, you know, for us to be able to work in these organizations and give these opportunities. And I think, you know, the kids are the ones that receive the direct benefit, getting the registration and the equipment, but it's really understanding what it does to that entire family unit, like taking the pressure off the parents, that financial burden has come off them, to actually see their kids, you know, experiencing joy. We get, you know, a lot of notes written to us about parents sitting in stands with happy tears running down their face because their son is so happy, you know, they haven't seen him that way for a while. And so it's just, yeah, the impact is amazing, and kids just need opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely. And yeah, like I said, it should be almost, you know, a societal thing that sport is provided that, or kids are provided that opportunity to participate in sport as a whole. Because again, you said, both of you said, we know the society benefits. Again, throughout this programs, you folks have all heard me say it, you know, sport builds better people. Sport builds a better society. So we know those things. We know people that participate in sport go on to be great leaders within their organizations. We know the health benefits. Obviously, that puts less pressure on some of our, you know, some of our things like healthcare. Mm-hmm. We also know sport keeps people busy. And again, we know the benefits of having, you know, people busy. They're less likely to do other things. Potentially, like Dayna alluded to there in the first question.
Point,
yes, exactly. And folks, you two have been in the industry for a long time and such, and you know, just share with our listeners here, or viewers, I should say, what are the challenges that you're seeing in trying to help make sport accessible?
I mean, it's a great question. I mean, obviously, one of the things I can think of is fund development. The need is increasing, definitely. So more requirement for fundraising is necessary. Sustainable revenue is necessary so we can continue to say yes to our kids and their families. Yeah, I would say those are probably the top few. What do you think, Janna?
Yeah, honestly, you know, it boils down to money, right?
Yeah.
That seems to be what the thing is everywhere. Last year we had a 26% increase in demand, and the year before that a 48% increase.
Yes.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, we just need to continue to provide these services. So we grind in every way through fundraising events, through applying for grants, through bringing on corporate partners, you know, to having golf tournaments, to all of that. And we all need to continue to do that. And then, you know, in the case for Sports Central is we're going through a lot of our equipment. So we are, you know, our shelves are starting to get empty. And so we're really just looking for people to donate the stuff that's unused in their homes, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has something in their garage or in their shed or in their basement, and we just want to get it from those homes. You know, it's amazing what a single baseball glove can do to a kid's life, or even a soccer ball. So, but yeah, it's, you know, it's money, and we're working, you know, Dayna and I spend a lot of time in our jobs of getting that fund development together. So if there's anyone out there that has some ideas and would like to partner with us, and there's lots of different ways that we can do things, right? Things come in value in kind, or hosting events, or doing different things, or holding a fundraiser for us. We'd be happy to chat with anyone on how we could work together.
For
Definitely.
sure.
And you raise a good point, too, about the increase and the need for the program. I mean, it comes hand in hand now with the need for more fund development and more equipment for yourself. And organization. And I know, so at Kids Sport, we are Kids Sport Edmonton. We're localized. Money raised here stays here. But we're banded together with brother and sister chapters from coast to coast. So if anyone's listening to this, wherever they are, you can just go to the Kids Sport website, find a local chapter, donate to them, or apply or volunteer time, right? It's time, treasure, talent, whatever you have availability to give. And if you can't, then it's applying for the program, and we're here and happy to help. And I think in saying that too, the need for Sports Central, you guys do Red Deer North. So anyone who's got equipment to donate, regardless of how far north they are, you guys are always going to take that and get it cleaned and inventoried and get it on those kiddos. And so the need is grand, and it's not just the need in Edmonton, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, it's province-wide. I mean, we have a counterpart in Calgary, the Calgary Flames Sports Bank. So, this is a provincial initiative, and we all help kids wherever they are. Sometimes if we've got some extra equipment, we fire it down to Calgary, and vice versa. It's we all do this for kids. So that's the beauty behind the scenes, is we're all working together to make it happen.
Awesome. That was a great call to action right there. And we'll definitely recircle that near the end of the show. We've got Dayna Josdal from Kids Sports and Janna Tominuk from Sports Central joining us right now. This is the Hockey Edmonton Show on YouTube. Trev, that's Jeremy Halischuk on this nice, beautiful Saturday morning. But yeah, I just want to, you guys were kind of talking about the donating there, and I'm just curious, and I'm sure some of our listeners are as well. What are you guys accepting for donations? Is there
Cash.
Yes, bring it in right now. Let's go. No, I like that. I like that a lot. As far as the equipment goes, like, are you guys taking everything? I feel like there obviously is, that you want better quality most times, right?
Well, and what we're looking for is, a lot of people know us for hockey and bikes, but we actually do 20 different sports, and everything's listed on our website. But we're really looking for equipment that is sort of 10 years or newer, and it really comes down to safety for the kids, right? Like, older equipment just isn't safe, or things have changed, so different equipment pieces don't go together. So, and again, it's just the stuff that's laying around people's houses. We have 49 drop-off locations for donations, Edmonton and area, and the goal was really to make it wherever someone lives or works, that it's super easy to find one of those locations and just drop off that equipment. And then we go around on a weekly basis to the different locations, grab the equipment, bring it back to the shop, and
Nice.
and repair and refurbish it. Just to give people an idea, last year we repaired 2,029 helmets.
Wow.
We repaired 2,279 pieces of equipment. Right, and so some of the repair of that equipment, like a palm can just be blown out of a glove, right? And we sew a new one in. Some hockey pants may just need to be sewed. So even if it's a minor repair that needs to be done to that equipment, we're happy to do that.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going through the benefiting, seeing the back spaces of Sports Central there. It's been a benefit to see the work that all those volunteers do. I can't put it as eloquently as Dayna did with the time, talent, and
Treasure.
Yeah. that statement. But yeah, like I look at that army of people that have believed in those causes, and yeah, the work that goes behind the scenes that people don't see, that truly is. Like, yeah, there's a village that it takes a village to help raise organizations in some cases, right, and such. So that's the work that goes beyond or behind the scenes there is quite something, and commendable for your volunteers, the work they do and such. We talked about we talk about in hockey how it makes better people, but that's all true in all sport. And I think people that have heard this, heard our podcast so far have heard me say the same thing. It doesn't matter what sport it is. And I know you touched a little bit upon it, on how it's impacted, or how sports has played a role in developing who you folks are as people. So that's part one of the question, but also, I think this is actually probably more impactful, and that is, can you share some of the successes that you've seen by helping remove some of these barriers in sports? So some of those success stories. And I know, if you go onto their websites, kidsport.ca, and then you go find the Edmonton
Kids
link.
Sport Canada, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then Sports Central, I know,
Yeah.
sorry, I was
okay.
wrong. I go on the
It was
website
a new
lot.
changeover.
Yes.
It's okay. It's fine.
But yeah, both have some good stories there. So yeah, if you can share some of those successes for the listeners to hear, what exactly do they support and really how it is successful?
Yeah, definitely. And that's great as well, too. I would say at Kids Sport Edmonton, and I'm sure, I think we're one of your biggest referral agencies, so I'm sure. But our families obviously overlap. And I would say at Kids Sport and likely at Sports Central, we're supporting a lot of new Canadians, more minority groups. We're supporting some Kids Sport kids we support for their entire athletic career while they're under 18, and some kids we're just supporting, for a few years. And some of those examples might be the ones that we're supporting for a few years. One family I can think of off the top of my head, it's a mother with 4 children, and her husband left her. She got cancer, COVID hit, or maybe she got COVID hit and then she got cancer. And so all 4 kids had to stay home, like her immune system's down, right? So they didn't get any sport, and it was COVID and everyone was at home. So that was a really hard time for them. And of course, financially, she used to be on the other side of the microphone, right? Instead of this time, she was at an event helping us ask for funding by sharing her story. And when she made that comment, I'm usually on the other side of this microphone being the donor. I thought that was really interesting and really showcases that sometimes it is temporary support, or it's a new family that just moved here from the Ukraine or wherever it may be, looking for assistance so they can get on their feet. And some are other families that we support too. Some we've heard as well get scholarships through sport, and they're the first in their family to go to. Right now, one of our board members, Jeff Vella, he is actually a past Kids Sport kid from Kids Sport Calgary, and he's a family of 5, single mom. And he said that when they were little, him and his twin brother and his siblings, they would go to their mom's second or third job, help her finish scrubbing the toilet so she could come home and then have a meal with them. And he said that when he was first told that his mom, he shared with us that in his story that when his mom said yes to him and his brother playing soccer, like they didn't have, I guess, they didn't have equipment in the Calgary area at that point. So they just had like ripped Daisy Dukes on and like their shoes, and like we were just so excited to play. It didn't matter what they were in. And then what ended up happening is he got into football. He got a scholarship. He went to the U of A. He's now a physiotherapist, and he's broken the cycle of poverty in his family because of the power of sport in his life growing up, and the mentors that he had growing up, helping put him on the right path. So I just love that story, and now he's a board member, right? Full circle. So those are 2 that I can think of off the top of my head, and some of the groups that we support. But Janna, I'm sure you've got some great stories too.
Yeah, and we talk sport, and a big part of that is the recreational side as well, is not everybody, is wanting to get into the competitive sports side. So simply just getting kids active, and then whether it becomes a feeder system later on or not. One of the things that I love that we do is our bike program. So we gave out 2,956 bikes last year, all go out with a brand new helmet and a bell on them for safety. And it's just, if you think, we all were fortunate to have a bike, right? And that freedom that a bike gives you, whether it's riding to meet your friends or riding to the park or wherever that is, like it just, and I think of some of the newcomers, which is a large portion of people that we serve, they're arriving here with suitcases, right? And so, even being able to come to Sports Central and they can get a scooter or they can get a ball. And often what happens at Sports Central too is we may be outfitting 1 kid, but 3 family members come in. Well, we're not sending a family member out without something, so we always go in the back and find something and making sure they leave. But it's then what just gets them into their neighborhood and something that's common with someone that they're going to play with. One of my favorite stories is badminton is very popular, and so if we have any kids, we obviously give them a couple rackets and some birdies. And we had a mom send us a note about her daughter playing with the neighborhood kid. They did not speak the same language, but they were playing badminton together over the fence.
Love that.
That's really neat.
Right, so how do you,
Yeah.
those are the things that happen that we just don't even know, right?
Yeah.
And another thing I've heard too is, we talk about the kids, of course, they're number one priority, and literally the only reason Janna and I are here at our organizations is to help the kids. But it's also a family unit experience, right? So with these new Canadian families as well, too, here, their networks are really small. So now their child's playing soccer, supported by both of our organizations. Now mom and dad are at the field, and they're meeting other parents in the stands. And we've heard one family say, like, oh, we swap recipes, like the moms talk. And that's a really neat part of the community, too, like their new community, right, that they're creating through support from our organization. So that's neat.
Yeah, no, definitely. You talk about that community, and again, these folks haven't seen any of our episodes, but
We've seen all of them.
Fair enough. I do always appreciate that about you, Dayna, and that. But in all seriousness, we talk about how sport builds a community as a whole, right? And folks, you've heard us talk about this multiple times. Again, not prompted. These are the stories that why sport is important for youth to participate in, and it just goes beyond, the rinks in our case. Again, like Dayna just alluded to, families, those become your friends and that. So again, those folks that are wanting to, that aren't involved in hockey, that are listening to our programs, this is one of the big benefits is you're going to build a nice community. You're going to find a community of friends that stand to be lifelong, both your kids as well as, you as parents. So.
Definitely.
I think something else important to mention is, like Dayna talked about how closely we work together, and Kidsport is a top 3 referring agency for Sports Central. We actually work with 72 active agencies out there.
We're 3 out of 72?
Yes.
Oh.
Let's go. That's awesome.
I didn't know that.
So, we sort of consider ourselves this triple play, right? Where Kidsport does the registration, Sports Central's in the middle doing the equipment, and then there's all of these organizations out there doing the programming, right? Mm-hmm. Hockey Edmonton, Free Play, Community
Great
Leagues,
point.
all of that. So, there's, again, this work that we're all doing together that is going to land to the greatest impact of these kids and these families. So there's just so many people working at this. It's really the power of community is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, it's really impressive, like the numbers you just listed off, and just looking up them now, 2,300 pieces of equipment repaired, bikes repaired, 2,800. Like I come from a small town. That's like more than half of the people in my town. Like that's like really impressive numbers. And I'm just curious, obviously what you guys are doing, like how are you getting more people involved, would you say? Is it more just word of mouth nowadays? Because you guys have been, a business for quite some time. How are you guys trying to get more people involved?
So at Kidsport, I was hoping COVID would level the playing field on this, but unfortunately it didn't, because we were all in the same boat for a while. But unfortunately, with fee assistance, there's this shame around it, and nobody wants anyone to know that they can't keep up with the Joneses. So if we were to stand on a street corner and hand out applications, literally no one's going to stop by and take it. But if we're working with the sport club partners, like Janna just mentioned, and their registrar knows about our program, knows how to fill out the application, then when a family comes to them and says, well, you can try my visa, but it's probably not going to work, they can say, well, why don't we try Kidsport instead, and then Sports Central. So that's how we grow the amount of kids that we're supporting. Also word of mouth, of course. I mean, families are talking. The ones that are comfortable to talk and share what their businesses are talking, and then we're helping more kids in that sense. But I would say for us, it really comes down to the 400 different sport club partners and schools that we work with within the city of Edmonton is how we'll be supporting more kids. And Janna mentioned some numbers, and this year, for the first year, will be over 4,000 Kidsport kids, over $1 million donor dollars redistributed back out into the local sport community for subsidized sport registration fees. So I think another impact in terms of what you're speaking about is the impact we're also having on the local sport community as well, in terms of the economy, really, in terms of the money and equipment that we're putting into it. So I think that that's also notable as well too, and frankly, that's all the community's funding, right? Like that's our community banding together to make sure our kids have what they need. We're just the facilitators, but it's the community and our volunteers really pushing this forward. So we're grateful for that.
And Dayna, I think the number of sports that you guys do is like you're over 70.
We're over 70, different organized sports, individual, team, all of them, any level of competition,
Awesome.
Parasport,
Sweet.
Perfect. Yeah. And you kind of led into our next question there. For those that are listening. Yes. Again, she seems to be a pro. She might,
impressive.
We might actually have to hire her
give
to
me that
do my,
laptop.
exactly. You know what? I think we need to hire her to replace me as the host from,
Goodbye, Jeremy.
Yeah, exactly. We're halfway through. Sorry. Second half of the season. Dayna, you're co-hosting with me too, Trev. So, hopefully you brush up on your hockey and that. And, we'll
need to
have
do
you
that.
back.
You'll be good to go.
But in seriousness, again, we want to encourage those that are watching, if you haven't played hockey or, you have your concerns and such. And again, we're pegged with that sport as being an affluent sport, and hopefully through our episodes, we're kind of splitting the barriers there of, yes, every sport has that elite component to it, and it doesn't matter which sport it is, but they all have that elite component to it. And unfortunately for us in hockey, and like I said, a lot of sports, it gets dragged down to the community level. And again, so if you're interested in participating in sports, you've heard us talk about our community programs, our Learn to Play programs. And again, I alluded to our partners here because I didn't want to steal their thunder. And obviously, as you've heard, they speak a lot better than me and more eloquently than me and such. But, I shared that, yes, we do have partners. And even you heard through some of our organizations in last week's episode, but earlier on we had our community organizations talking about how they get people into the game. But for those that are, hopefully wanting to get in the game and concerned about potentially some of those financial barriers and supports, how can those listening, reach out to you and access those opportunities?
Yeah, and I'll definitely answer that in a moment. One thing I want to speak about, and I know Janna, I'm sure, does too, is we do fund more sports than hockey. However, thanks to the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation, both of our organizations and other kids sport chapters north of Red Deer and Oil Country have received a beautiful donation over the past few years that enables us to provide subsidy for hockey registration fees at $750 per kid, which is amazing, in addition to our $250 per kid for any of the other 60 plus sports that children want to participate in. I will say not a lot of kids participate in more than one sport a year, but there are a few, and if the ones that do have that capacity can, but I digress. So $750, thanks to the Oilers Community Foundation, we're able to do that for hockey registration fees, for ice hockey registration fees, I'll be specific, and I know that it helped you purchase some of the equipment that you need to, helmets and...
Correct, yeah, so the Hockey Assistance Program, the Oilers Community Foundation for Sports Central has been beside us since day one, since our doors open. Of course, for anyone that knows where our office is, we're across from the old Coliseum. And they've just been an organization that supports financially. They support through player engagement with us. They support through auction items. Like they are, obviously they get and love hockey, but they really care about how can we get more kids in hockey and again, the benefits. And they spend a lot of time on the on-ice initiatives, but also the off-ice, which, we all know is a package of great importance.
Definitely. So I will go back to your original question. Sorry, I had to
No
derail
worries.
that for a moment.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, don't mean to take control, but okay.
That's all right. Again, I'm enjoying this because it's making my life easier.
So in order to apply for kids sport fee assistance, what families can do is they can go to our website, and then in the top right corner, there's an apply for a grant button. They can click on that. They can either utilize our online platform or fill out a PDF. It's a fillable PDF that they can download, or they can print it out. And then fill it in and bring it in. Every Thursday, we're in the office at the Percy Page Center from 9 to 3, so we can always help families fill out the applications as well too. And then what happens on our application is we intentionally want to make it easy for families. We don't want this to be another barrier they need to come across. So it's a short, quick 5-section, application that helps us understand if a family is eligible for funding, for fee assistance. So we're doing our due diligence with each application, ensuring donor dollars are going where they say they're going to be going to support the families that need it the most. So we're looking for the kids' information, the sport they're going to play, the family's financial status with a few different pieces of paperwork. And then on the bottom of our application, the final section says, do you need sport equipment? check yes, let us know what you need. So as soon as we approve them, they're pre-approved for Sports Central. So Janna's staff just need to get that referral and then run with it versus do the additional paperwork. So we do find efficiencies between our organizations to make sure we're serving our families the best that we can, the quickest that we can. So that's how we refer to Sports Central. And then if you want to run with that.
Yeah, so I mentioned the 72 active agencies that we work with. So, a lot of those referrals come. So if anyone's involved with those agencies, they certainly know what to do. And then there's self-referring information on our website as well that families are more than welcome to self-refer. Like Dayna said, we keep the process, very, very simple and streamlined. We're not here to make it harder for families to do, so we make that easy. People can obviously call our office as well. We're happy to help. And we do deal with different language barriers, and there's times where we're in our lobby with Google Translate and our staff are working to communicate and figure it out, and we do. And that's, again, we're there to help, and we will do anything to get equipment in these kids' hands.
One of the coolest parts about Janna's job that I'm jealous about, my board's jealous about, everyone at the Kids Sport team is jealous about, is that you get so much time with the kids because they come in, her team outfits them, make sure the equipment fits, make sure they know how to put on all the hockey gear, because that's overwhelming for a new family for sure. So yeah, I think it's really awesome. They get to come in and sit in these cool locker looking seats, and it's a neat experience for everyone. And like Janna said too, if it's a family that comes in, or I think you said this, but as a family comes in and if only one of the 3 kids is playing, they've got scooters in the back or something for the other kids so they can also leave with something as well and then be active in their own time. So
yeah, the fact that we get to see kids outfitted every single day,
so
and
cool.
Parents, we get a lot of hugs from parents and even big smiles from the kids and all of that, because it just really is impacting their life. So we're very fortunate. Even we do community outreach, which is bulk shipments to communities. It might be a community organization in a small community, or we send a shipment up to an RCMP detachment or whatever. There's just and then we always get notes and photos back and stuff that is amazing. One of the awful things obviously that happened this summer was the fires in Jasper, and so when things settled a bit there, we obviously had extended our help, and we got a request from the minor sports group there, and we're able to send a shipment. It ended up being shipped to someone's backyard, and they had all the kids come over that needed the equipment and distributed it from there, because obviously buildings and things were tough at that point. So and that's, I guess in general, just I think Albertans is, we just come together and we make things happen, and this is no different, right? And I think there's not a person out there that doesn't resonate with kids in sport.
No, for sure. And I love this, the comment about you help them also get outfitted, because we talk about some of those barriers for those that are new into the game. And I think from our perspective, that's one of the things that we're trying to break down is the, those assumptions that people in hockey make. Yeah, assume to how to put on equipment and such. Well, if you're not brand new to the game and don't know how to play or how to put the equipment on, again, it can be that overwhelming experience. And then added to it, you might have some, again, financial challenges. You might be new to your community, new to your country, new language. How do you ask for that help? So again, I think that's one of those really, really good stories to hear is, again, if you want to play hockey, we have a community that's willing to help and will help you get into the game. Again, from the financial component to the equipment component to being comfortable with the equipment. Even Brad talked about that last week, about how they work with new people in the game to break that comfort level down. And we heard that even with our KC group there. And I know one of their people over there works for you organizationally and has helped really work to make the process streamlined from that side of it. So again, we're trying to make these processes streamlined, make participating in sport easy as possible, especially for hockey, because we are the Hockey Edmonton Show, and hence why I'm stating that, yes, for hockey especially, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to participate in the game. So,
and Jeremy, we're about 40% hockey, right, which is obviously a big number. I think you talk about how important that the fitting is. So we take a fitting for a player takes about 45 minutes, and and a goalie takes an hour. When we're in our peak season, we're fitting between 8 and 15 kids a day. And then the other thing we also teach them is about giving them tips and tricks on about cleaning their equipment, right? Because again, if people haven't played things, they don't even necessarily know about drying their equipment. One of the other things I absolutely love that we do is we have an exchange program. Kids grow. So what fits you in October does not fit you in March. So kids are just able to bring that equipment back and we will exchange that and we stick out their journey with them, right? It's not about, we're not a one-time stop for them, is we're going to be here for as long as they need us to be here for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. I like that a lot, actually. And it's like, it's just honestly, it's wonderful hearing like what you guys are doing, like just like listening and just sitting back. It's really cool. I can see how passionate you guys are about this. It's like, I can imagine, if you're having a tough day and whatnot, but just seeing, getting a kid fitted for their sports and just the smiles that they like, it's just got to make your day. Like you're making that kid's day in like a few months, right? They like, it just goes such a long way. So it's beautiful stuff what you guys are doing. I just want to say that it's really cool. This is the Hockey Edmonton Show. I'm YouTube Trev, and joining me today we have Dayna Josdal from Kids Sports and Janna Tominuk from Sports Central. Also just wanted to talk about the grant process there. Like I was in college. I can't tell you. The one page leads to another, and I'm just like, I don't even want this darn thing anymore. Like that is like, so you guys are making it simple, and that goes a long way as well for sure. But we're almost we got a few more. Actually, we got a few more minutes here. But I was going to talk about the heartwarming stories. I'm a sucker for the heartwarming stories, but you guys kind of touched on that as well. Jeremy, do you have any questions in the queue?
Yeah, no, I think the big one for us here, again, why we want to bring our partners on is to highlight what they do, but also provide support to them and, give them a platform here. And hopefully the listeners have been inspired to help in some way. So, folks, for those that want to support your organization, in all three of the so eloquently you put, obviously
time, treasure, and talent. Time,
treasure, and talent. So obviously funding, first of all, important equipment as well for Janna there, and if potentially you want to volunteer as well and give back as well. So
Just if I can just speak a little bit further about the equipment. So last year we served 13,264 kids. So you can imagine the equipment that is behind that. So again, I mentioned we need all equipment and it's detailed on our website, but right now we've got some empty shelves of some things. And so skates is our number one thing that we need, particularly size 4 to 7, like our shelves are literally empty. So if anyone's got skates laying around, that would be great. Pucks, badminton rackets, any baseball equipment, because we're starting to prepare for spring and those shipments and things that we do in community outreach. 20 and 24-inch wheel size bikes, which are kind of that 6 to 12-year-old that's riding. Again, I think those get passed around families and used a bit more, so we don't see as many of those that we need. And balls, like it can be a football, a basketball, a soccer ball, a playground ball, you name it. One of the great things we do with our CMP detachments is we do these ball kits where we deflate balls and we throw a pump in a bag, and they have them in the trunks of their car, and when they're all cruising around, if they see some kids that need that, we do it with Edmonton Police as well. And so, that's a great program. I think involvement, we've talked about, we're looking for volunteers, and there's everything from sorting equipment to equipment repair to data entry. Like there's lots of opportunities. If people wanted to do equipment drives, that's really helpful for us. Hold a fundraiser. Everybody does, a golf tournament or different events that if they can donate to either one of our organizations, and then of course, just the straight financial contribution if people have that ability.
Yeah, and obviously I'll jump in.
For sure.
Yeah, so of course we're looking for funding at Kids Sport. We're looking for sustainable funding, whether you want to sign up as a monthly donor, whether you want to give one time, whatever is comfortable for you as a donor. We would love to cash. We would love to take on, and we're, at the end of the day at Kids Sport, we're money in, money out, right? Money comes in for our kids, money is sent out for our kids after they qualify, and we can show that they're eligible. So yeah, the more the merrier, and 'tis the season, right? If you'd like to give the gift of sport, Kids Sport Edmonton is currently receiving, and same with Sports Central, right? Both of us are looking for funding, and if you'd like to support both organizations, organizations. I think that's fabulous. And we can always have conversations about shared logo placement and things like that, whatever the donor's interested in, whether you've got a family foundation, whether you want to host a community fundraiser, whether your company wants to give or you individually want to give. We're both receiving, and we're both more than happy to collaborate and stretch your dollar even further by sharing it between both of us to help our kids. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, from our perspective at a Hockey Edmonton side, we want to thank those organizations. I know a lot of our organizations do work with both organizations. Obviously, our Edmonton Minor Hockey Association alumni group, they
the
provide
alumni is wonderful. The EMHA alumni, jumping in, sorry.
No worries.
Have been supporting our organizations with a significant contribution for years. 10 plus?
Yeah,
more?
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
They're fabulous.
Yeah, so for sure, again, those folks, the good work that they do behind the scenes to ensure, again, making sure that people can still continue to participate in the year or into the game, because these are folks that love the game. They've dedicated their lives to the game, both as players, to administrators and coaches, and just continuing to give back. Obviously, another one of our good partners there is the Hockey Alberta Foundation. Again, very good friends with the former manager, executive director, Tim Lear, now that he's moved back into a marketing side on the Hockey Alberta side. But again, Hockey Alberta Foundation's provided funding through both groups here to help move the game forward. So again, on behalf of all of the hockey side of it, we thank all of our organizations for the work they do to ensure that, again, people that that want to play the game have those opportunities to participate in the game.
It takes a team to help a team. So we're really grateful for everyone's helping hands.
There really is such acknowledgement in the hockey community, for this, and like just all those organizations that you mentioned. And again, it boils down to that power of community. It is that simple.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're diving into the final thoughts on today's show. Ladies, I'll just give the mic to you. Is there anything else you might like to highlight before we wrap up here?
Dayna, you go first.
It's just all that Botox and you look, oh, secret's out, sorry. Yes, we're like hand to heart very grateful for everybody's contributions in the hockey community and the sport community to ensure that our neighborhood, that our kids in the neighborhood have what they need to succeed. It's really important for us, and we know that we can't do it alone. It's going to take a lot of helping hands to support these kids, and the need as it continues to grow, we really appreciate as the community continues to show up, right? We're seeing that too in different lights, and we're really grateful for that and all of our supporters on the Kids Sport Edmonton team. And in addition to the hockey community, as you mentioned, and all the volunteers that give their time and all the donors that give their treasure and all the talent that's provided as well too. So so apply, volunteer, donate. We're happy to support where we can.
Our mission is to empower kids one piece of sports equipment at a time, and the vision is changing lives through sport. And I can very confidently say we're doing that, and we want to do a whole bunch more of that. So with this community, we will continue to do that, and I think, the demand is only going to go up, and we're going to be ready for it.
Amen.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, this was a great episode, ladies. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. We were talking about how hockey gives back, and we couldn't have had two better guests on the show today. So it was like your passion is glowing. It was so nice to hear your guys' stories and just to shed some light on this. It's that time of the year. Christmas is right around the corner. So you guys know what to do. We'll put a link in the description where you guys can go follow them. I know you guys are on social Sports Centrals. So we'll definitely do that as well. That pretty well wraps up today's show. So thank you again, ladies. We really appreciate it. And Jeremy, thank you. You did pretty good today.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a good week for me in terms of this episode here. I didn't have to do a lot.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, happy holidays.
Leave a
Thanks for having us.
like. Leave a like for Kids Sport in Edmonton, and leave a like for Sports Central as well. Drop a comment down below. And thanks for watching. This is episode 15 of the Hockey Edmonton Show right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oh, my Lord. Right on. I can't believe I forgot that one. Right on. Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Enjoy your day.
Thank you.